What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Simple Dad Podcast. I am your host, Quincy Forte. This is my illustrious co-host, Mr. Remon of the Urban Advocate. I don't really even know what illustrious mean. I just know that people use it often when they're speaking in high regard of someone. So it felt only right to use it here today.
Yeah.
So
I
what's been
mean,
up, bro?
whatever illustrious means, it makes me feel special when I hear it. So, make me
Yeah,
feel like I'm doing something right.
I've never looked it up, and it's always been said by people who are more established than
Right.
myself. And so I'm like, it must mean something if like they're on national TV
Mhm.
using it, you know,
Yeah.
daily. So
Yeah. Like I said, it make me feel special when I hear it. But no, I've been good, man. I've actually had a pretty good week, man. Like, Patch, because with everything that's going on, we're still in the middle of uh COVID, and everything's kind of spiked up over the last few weeks, and everything's still going on with the Black Lives Matter movement. So, in the midst of all of this past month, all the craziness, uh, there's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of highs and lows. But I think for this past week, everything's been pretty good on my end. How about yourself?
oh man, it's been good. I just been really hanging out. We had at work, we had last Friday off, because if you're listening to this is post 4th of July weekend or whatever. And so dude, all day Friday, I was thinking it was Saturday. And so I have like a routine that we go get. Um, I'll go pick up breakfast for,
Hmm.
Ashley, and I'll make Andrew like pancakes and stuff like that on Saturday. And so I was sitting there, and it was like after my workout, and I was at my desk and I was looking at the clock. And I always get like breakfast for her from Chick-fil-A on Saturdays, kind of like a treat thing or whatever. Um, so I'm sitting there looking at my clock, and I'm like, oh snap, I gotta go before they wake up. And then I was like, hey, today's Friday. I was like, it's a normal day, except I was actually
Yeah.
off, and like it was the first time in a long time that I was actually able to like be off because of my
Hmm.
job function.
Hmm.
The client that we have was actually closed, and so I was like, oh cool, I can be off. Like I
All
didn't
right.
even go look at my work computer. I'm pretty sure it died at some point on Friday because I didn't even have it plugged into the charger. So that was
Right.
nice. But then I woke up Saturday, and I was like, all right, cool. Today is Saturday. And I still waited too long to go get breakfast. And I go, and Chick-fil-A, they duped people last weekend. They were closed on Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
And
Oh,
I
wow.
drove up to the drive-through, and I was like, no, this cannot be. There's no way y'all can be closed all weekend. Like, so many people are going to be so
Look,
upset.
I know, like going one day without Chick-fil-A is one thing. Going 2 days, like we,
Um,
we might need to call on a higher power for that one.
just imagine if Christmas fell on a Saturday, and you got Christmas Eve, they close on early, and obviously Christmas Eve would be on a Friday, right? So then you have like
Mm.
Friday, they're closed before dinner time to be with their family, and
Man,
then Saturday they're like out, and then you got Sunday, and it's like,
I couldn't
no,
even
we
imagine.
out too.
I don't even want to imagine a world where Chick-fil-A is closed 3 days in a row.
Let's see what day Christmas is on this year. So dude, Christmas is actually on a Friday this year. So they're gonna be closed
Um,
Friday, back on Saturday, and then back closed on Sunday. People are gonna need to get that schedule together. Uh,
yeah, I could see the riots coming already.
um, so no, that was interesting. But yeah, no, that was pretty much my weekend, and then I have another day off on Monday because Ash's birthday is on Tuesday. So yeah,
Right.
I just took the day before off with no real rationale. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why I just didn't take like her birthday and the day before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I just took a day before off to where you can kind of just dedicate some time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Me still not check work emails and go do something, or not really go do something, but just kind of sit around and
Yeah.
enjoy each other. So
Right.
yeah, man, uh, that's been it. what was I gonna say? There was something that I can't think of right now. It has slipped my mind. Uh, so has there
Age
been?
catching up to you, huh?
Oh, dude, you have no idea. Like the salt and pepper, um, it's crazy. And actually, I'm looking at my hair right now, and so it's really weird that babies have they're freakishly strong.
Uh-huh.
And then like as we grow, like we sort of had to start to like develop muscle, and then we get weaker, but we have to build up and become stronger, right? So
Uh-huh.
um, Marley is super strong, dude. I swear, like, most people are like, oh, my daughter's gonna be a princess. My daughter's going to be, something cute and dainty. And
Uh-huh.
I'm sitting here like, you're gonna be like a MMA fighter. Like you're gonna be a
Right.
wrestler. You're gonna be in the WWE.
Right.
Because dude, like she's like punching and she's like slapping and she
Yeah,
like
nah.
grabs my hair. And so that's why my like hair is messed up. Because she'll grab it and she'll just like yank,
Yeah.
like she's trying to yank all my dreads out, and it hurts. But she's only 6 months old, so I'm like, how in the world are you so strong?
Yeah. I mean, that kind of remind me of when I was younger, and this is it's a funny story for the audience out there. How when I was like, I think I was 5 years old, and I dislocated our dad's jaw.
Oh yeah, he kind of asked for that though.
I mean,
Uh, because we were, I mean, so just to tell the backstory, we were wrestling and playing, and like at times he would get rough,
uh
but then you have a bad temper when you get mad, and so like I mean, you just like went like full tilt and like
yeah,
just literally socked him in the jaw.
I just remember like him, uh, and if I'm remembering this correctly, like he picked me up and kind of slammed me, and I just kind of like stood up in front of him and squared up and just,
Yeah, that's pretty much how it happened from what I remember. And he was like, I
so
can't believe you just dislocated my jaw. But
yeah,
um,
so I mean, so I completely understand how that can happen.
I don't get it. But I don't think she's gonna be anything dainty. And I'm
Not
pretty
at all.
sure that Andrew is going to have to walk around the house in his taekwondo sparring gear.
Right.
Um, because already she has like no fear, and I like once we're able to like be out and about and around everybody, and like it's gonna be hard for us to be like, okay, grandparents, you can hold her,
Right.
um, because she will literally fly out of your arms. Like she sees something, and
Uh,
she just goes for it. She's not like thinking, oh, I need the security of this person holding me, or I'm gonna fall and hurt myself.
yeah.
She just dives, like just tries to. Then if you're not paying attention, she will literally bend all the way back and like
Yeah.
have you freaking out because
Yeah.
you are like, I'm about to drop this baby. And she's so strong that you're having to like try and bend her
Yeah.
back to where she needs to be. And she's just like
Yeah.
resisting, like, no, I want it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, she's gonna be strong, man. Like I think I absolutely believe she's gonna be another one of those because Andrew was like this, tried to walk before he crawled.
oh, no, I think she's going to move slower in some aspects, right? Like,
You
because
think so?
yeah, I totally think so because I think she's going to go through the progress. She may not crawl for very long, but she's
Mm-hmm.
already doing more than Andrew with regards
Mm-hmm.
to trying to crawl. Andrew just skipped crawling,
Yeah.
and never like you laid him on his stomach and he just wouldn't move. And
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, she's determined, so she tries to get to things. So
Mm-hmm.
especially if there's something in front of her that she wants, she's absolutely determined, and she will try and crawl to it and like slide on her face. It's very comical to watch.
And and I mean that's kind of normal for girls, isn't it? They're a little bit more um not really like I don't know. I think that's a little bit like kind of like females' traits, right?
Hmm. Like more tenacious.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. Uh, I mean, and just kind of comparing the two, like I thought she was gonna be like the laid back kid, but
Mm,
at this point, I feel like even as wild as Andrew is and his 6-year-old young angst, I think she's going to be like the super wild, and he's still kind of the chill one. He kind
mm,
of goes with the flow, and especially if there's a lot of people.
mm,
Like we talked about this before, he ends up standing out as a leader, but he doesn't go in seeking tons of attention. He just has kind of like a likable personality, and he's kind of caring around
yeah,
people.
yeah.
And so he's very intuitive that way. But like she's going to be the walk in the room, look at me, notice me type of.
Right, yeah, yeah.
So it'll be
I'm
interesting.
looking, I'm looking forward to see how it is when they get older, man.
Oh my goodness. I I mean, you kind of do this thing, I guess, as a parent because it's really crazy to watch like kids grow up, and you have parents that have like teenagers now, and they're like, you look at like when they share the pictures on Instagram, it's like, oh, I have a teenager today, and then you swipe back and you're like, how has time passed so fast that
Yeah,
this little thing has become this thing? And I'm like, whoa,
hmm,
that's gonna
yeah,
be crazy. And so I
yeah,
try to live in as many moments as I can and like be kind of cognizant and present. Because
hmm,
it's easy at this point in time to just be like, oh, let me just play on my phone and stuff like that. But I try to, yeah, just kind of live in the moments because I know that it's gonna go super fast and it's gonna be interesting
yeah.
because I'm gonna be like, man, I remember when you were this little,
Right,
and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so but awesome. So yeah, we have a fun topic today. Let's kind of dive into to the topic a little bit, right? So I texted you earlier this week, and I thought it'd be cool if we kind of like related something back to something that we're passionate about, or related today's topic to back to something we're both passionate about, and that's music, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm like, what are like if I had like as I introduce my kids to like great pieces of music, whether it's something that has like meaning to me, or that relates to the evolutionary transition that I had in life, or
Hmm,
just has great lyrics, or is just a great overall song. Like, if
hmm.
I could pick 5 songs to share, what kind of would those songs be? Uh, so, honestly, like I think we should do kind of round robin, and do like I'll do one and you do one, right?
Okay,
Until we get to our 5, and then just kind of explain um, why you picked that song.
okay.
So I'll go first.
All right.
And the first song I picked, uh, and it's kind of interesting how like a lot of these songs may have more to do with my current mindset. But like the first song I picked was called "Down Rodeo"
Hmm.
by Rage Against the Machine.
Okay.
And I mean, just the chorus, it actually says, um, "So I'm rolling down Rodeo with a shotgun. You people ain't seen a brown skinned man since your grandparents bought one."
Mm,
Oh, and
mm,
so, like, I mean, that's always kind of been a favorite song of mine.
mm.
And Rage is always held like a place in my mind to where like if I'm feeling in a certain mood or things like that, it's kind of like revolution music. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, this is just one of those songs that like, dude, every time I hear it, um, I feel energized and I feel like kind of like, man, that's so true. Like so much hasn't changed.
hmm,
And like, what could I be doing, sort of thing.
yeah,
Obviously, the lyrics are a bit graphic, but I like how they put the message in your face in a blunt way.
yeah.
And so I think
Right.
that's definitely something that they should kind of understand.
Yeah.
So, what you got?
All right, man. So my first one is one of the most classic songs from the '90s. Um, I think it has a very uplifting and positive message, something that everybody should hear, especially every young man. Uh, I picked Belle Biv DeVoe Poison. Okay.
Mm.
Because I think every young man needs to growing up needs to know never trust a big butt and a smile, okay?
that
That girl is poison. Stay away
that
from her.
is
Stay away. Okay. Watch the women that you approach, man, and everything that looks good to you ain't always good for you.
well,
Right.
yeah, no, that's very accurate. I was gonna say I was just watching, like, so I get into these fixes where I watch these documentaries, and I was just watching Planet Earth documentary, and they were talking about kind of these cichlid fish, and so what they do is they gather as many shells as they can.
Mm-hmm.
Like the males do to attract a female, and the male with
Mm-hmm.
the biggest pile of shells obviously gets the girl. And I was like, yo, I was like, how is this
This
true in
it's
every
like this in
species?
every species. In every species, the one with the most gets the girl.
So I
That's how
immediately
it does.
texted David, and I was like, "Hey, did you know the cichlids?" And I was like, "How is this true?" Yeah, so
In every species, it's like that, man. So yeah, I think it's a very important lesson, especially for young men coming up in this world. Uh, and again, never trust a big button to smile, man.
that is
So
fair.
yeah, Belle Biv DeVoe Poison is my first one.
All right. So number two for me is a song by Mr. Jimi Hendrix.
Mm,
I think is his middle name James, or I'm imagining that. I don't know. But yeah, no. Axis Bold as Love.
yeah.
Um, and that song is just like, man, it's so crazy. I mean, dude is probably definitely not probably. He was definitely tripping on acid when he wrote the song. But um the meaning of the song and how like just true to life it is, like the song is pretty much breaking down all the feelings and all the emotions that we have and
Hmm.
attributing them to like almost like he didn't come out and say it that they're auras, but he
Hmm.
calls them colors. He said, envy is green. He's like
Hmm.
anger is uh I think his anger is yellow, and then blue is sadness is blue.
Hmm.
Then he's like I'm feeling calm. It's mellow, and it's yellow, right? So like
Hmm. Hmm.
he's just attributing all the emotions that we have um, to colors. But the axis, and he's like, take me back to the axis, which is the center of things, and center myself. But he actually talks about how essentially the world is spinning on an axis, and like how like even with all these colors, like there's a true axis that we can be centered upon, right? And so yeah,
Yeah.
that's my number two. I mean, it's acid trip
You can.
driven, but like it's relatable.
I mean, at least you hearing Jimmy.
Yeah,
You're not
y'all
just
ain't hearing
listening to.
Jimmy.
You can't hear Jimmy.
That's from White Man Can't Jump, if you didn't know. And if you've never seen the movie, it's an amazing movie. And
Go
facts,
ahead.
I didn't even know, I didn't understand what Wesley Snipes was talking about when he said you weren't hearing Jimmy.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to Jimi Hendrix, and I was like, I
Yeah.
wasn't hearing Jimmy. Like,
Yeah. But now you do. Oh, let's see. So my second song up. I'm gonna go with one of my favorite love songs ever. Anybody knows me, they know I'm a big R&B head. I love R&B music. And my favorite R&B group of all time is Jagged Edge.
I already
So
think I know where you're going with this.
I gotta go with I'm going with Gotta Be. Their
Ah,
very first single.
yeah.
Uh, there's some other ones that really, if I had a child, I would sit them down and make them listen to every Jagged Edge song ever. Probably before, like, they would know that before they can go outside and play. Like, no, you got to sit here and listen to your Jagged Edge album. Do your homework first. But I'm going with Gotta Be. Gotta Be is probably, it's one of those songs I can listen to. Gotta Be like every day if I like. So I don't know if that's just because it's that great of a song, or I'm just that big of a Jagged Edge fan. But
I thought. I thought you were gonna go with the wedding song of the '90s, which was the "Let's Get Married" song, the one
Let's
that
Get
like
Married.
everybody was getting married to.
Well, see, and that's a good one because that was like I think they're one of the like the few groups or artists that ever had like the same song go number one twice
Mm,
because the original version went number one and then they did the remix with Reverend Run and that went number one.
right.
So it's like the same song went number one twice. So I think they're one of the few artists, a few groups that had that happen. But no, I'm going with Gotta Be just because it's the original, like it's the thing that introduced, it's the song that introduced them to the world. I love the message. I love the singing on it. And again, it's one of those songs that I can sit down and listen to every day. So I'm going with Gotta Be, Jagged Edge. That's my second song.
All right, cool. So number three for me is "What's Going On" by Marvin Gaye.
Mm, great
I
one. Great one.
feel like that is one of those songs that's kind of transcendent of time.
Mm,
And it like I mean, it was written in the '70s, right? And so the stuff that he was talking about then is still resurfacing now,
still,
right?
yeah,
So I
absolutely.
think it's always going to be a question of like, kind of, dude, what's going on? Like literally, like
Yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah.
Why are we still stuck in the same ways and stuff like
It's a
that? So
question that everybody, like somebody has asked in every generation, in every civilization on this earth has asked that exact same question. They've looked around and said, "Yo, what's going on?"
in some form or another, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
So I feel, I mean, and it's just a great, amazingly written song.
absolutely. All right, so since you went back all the way back, I'm gonna go back with you to um, my favorite soul singer of the '70s. I'm gonna go Donny Hathaway, a song for you.
Okay.
Um, Now this is not like one of those songs that's like insane. It's not even his like Donny Hathaway's most popular song. But when I heard it, I remember hearing it. I was watching Martin Lawrence's Run Tell That,
Hmm.
and in the opening credits, I remember hearing these keys, like the piano's playing. I was like, "Yo, what is that?" And as it started getting into the first verse, I was like, "Oh wow." Like this song speaks to me on a whole nother level from the way from the music, from the way Donny Hathaway plays the keys on it to the way he sings to the lyrics. It just touched me on a whole nother level. If I had to pick one song that's like my favorite song of all time, A Song for You by Donny Hathaway would be it.
Okay.
Like so I would actually have to sit my child down and say, hey, listen to this song and let it speak to your soul. Okay. Because it will do that. And there's a bunch of other Donny Hathaway songs that does that. He's actually my favorite soul singer from the '70s. But this is my favorite song from his catalog.
Okay.
So
Digging it. So number four for me is a song by Incubus. It's called "Warning."
mm,
Um, and like it stands out to me because I mean, since I can't remember when the album was released. Maybe it's like 98, 99 is when the Morning View album was released.
hmm hmm
Um, but like it, like just the chorus says, "She woke in the morning. She knew that her life had passed her by. She called out a warning. Don't ever let life pass you by."
mm,
Um, and I was like, man, that is crazy. And that's kind of one of those things again, like with rage, to where I'll go through moments and times where I'm more reflective than others. And
hmm
I'm not just like passing through life and I'm like looking back at my time and I'm like, man, what did I do or what have I actually accomplished with this time?
hmm
And that's kind of one of the messages that I would definitely want to relay to my kids. Obviously, it's just like, hey, like we only get so much time, and we should definitely not waste it. But then it also led to me diving into a book that this song was kind of loosely related on, which is a book by Daniel Quinn called Ishmael.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's crazy because it's about like it's a fictional book, but it's kind of like a what do you call those things? It's kind of like a fable. And so like you have this talking gorilla who reaches out to this journalist and is like, "Hey, I want you to kind of come write this story and my
Mm-hmm.
views on the world and stuff like that, and humanity and how humanity's like wrecking the world, sort of thing." And so he's like, I call bull on this whole thing, and like ends up talking to the gorilla, like changing
Mm-hmm.
his mindset. But in the pivotal pieces of it, it kind of talks about like how we exist as human beings, and that like as humans we just naturally disrupt the nature of things. And like
Yeah.
if you look at like a lion and a gazelle, like again it goes back to all the animal stuff that I watch. But
Mm-hmm.
the book actually talks about this. He's like, you have something from group A, group B, and group C. So a
Mm-hmm.
lion is maybe group A. You have like buffaloes, group B, and then whatever the buffalo eat is group C, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at any given time, you see all these people existing on a plane, like they're neighbors. Um, but when the lions get hungry, they're like, "Yo, hey, one of the buffaloes got to go. Like we got to
Mm-hmm.
do whatever." But they just take what they need, and then once they're full, like they're all chilling, all on the same plane. And the same thing with whatever the buffalo eat, right? It's like, hey,
Yeah.
whatever that is, y'all got to go. But once we're full, hey, we're good. We're all chilling. We're neighbors again. And so, but it just kind of
Yeah.
talks about how like the destructive nature of humans. And so that
Yeah.
song, loosely related on the book, but like package deal. But it's like
Mm-hmm.
definitely one of the things that I would hand off to my kids as like a homework assignment once they're able to
Yeah.
kind of understand life. So
Yeah. Sweet.
yeah,
Shout out to Incubus, man. Love Incubus.
yes,
Uh, let's see. So I'm gonna call it audible real quick. I
okay.
had one song down, but I think I'm gonna switch it up here. I'm gonna go with this is another throwback to the '90s. And again, I'm pretty sure y'all noticing a theme here. I was
He
raised
doesn't
in the
listen to
'90s,
anything new. No, I'm just kidding.
right? I was raised in the '90s. I love '90s music, and this time instead of going '90s R&B, I'm gonna go '90s hip hop with one of the most legendary artists from that time period. Um, and I
DMX. No, I'm just
actually,
playing.
man, I was wrestling with the idea of adding DMX on my list, but he didn't make it since we only got five. Um, so I actually had the pleasure of meeting both of the artists on this track. Uh, but I'm gonna go with Nas and Lauryn Hill, "If I Rule the World."
mm, mm.
This is
Such a
it's
good
one
song.
of absolutely it's one of those classic. It's one of the most classic hip hop songs of all time in any era, but um, especially of that time. And it's one of those tracks where um, like even if like you're listening to Nas, how how Nas would run the world if the world was his, but at the same time you can sit back and imagine like what would you do if you was in charge of the world for one day? Like how would you change the world? You know what I mean? And it was one of those songs that kind of led me throughout my life because I wear this piece that says the world is yours.
Mm,
You know, and that has multiple meanings. You know, not only does it give you this perspective of nothing in this world is off limits to you, but the world around you is yours. It's yours to do what you will with it. So if you don't like the world around you, it's yours. Change
mm-hmm,
it. Do something about it. Like you have the power to change the world that's around you. You have the power to change things that's going on. Like you have the power to affect it because this is your world. So take some responsibility for the world that's around you and like be the change that you want to see. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to accept just because the world is, just because it's racism going on in the world, just because it's discrimination, it's all this stuff going on. Like, you don't have to accept that. Like, you can do something to change it.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
and we all have that responsibility.
Yeah. That totally. I mean, it's strange how the universe works because that totally relates to something I've been reading, but then also something I sent you earlier about like
Mm-hmm.
how you have the control to like trim the fat, and say, yeah, no, that's too negative. Like I want my
Mm-hmm.
world to be more positive, so I'm just going to take that
Mm-hmm.
out. And like if you want me
Mm-hmm.
to accept that negative, I'm going to charge you for it because you're taking away
Mm-hmm.
from my time. So
All right.
like for
Yeah.
me to take on your negativity, it's going to cost you, just like
Right.
it's costing me my energy. So yeah,
Right.
no, that's 100%, man.
Yeah. So shout out to Nas and Lauryn Hill. The world is yours.
Great
Or
song.
if I rule the world. Yeah.
That Lauryn Hill unplugged, I think it still makes grown people cry to this day. Where Lauryn Hill starts crying and like, dude, like I don't even know what it is, but like the water where I was like, well, I don't even know why I'm crying right now, but it's
Man,
just like,
not to mention the fact that that album makes you cry, but I mean, just the fact that, I don't think you can create a more perfect album than Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Like, she will be touring the rest of her life off of that one album.
mm, yeah,
Like, it's
yeah,
such a
for sure.
classic album.
All right, so last and final song for me. Um, um, is the Bob Marley and it's the Three Little Birds song.
Hmm.
Um,
No Dave Matthews?
no, not in this top five. Just because I think
Okay.
for what I would want to convey, Dave is kind of complicated and complex.
Got it.
Um, and so like if I wanted to get straight to the point,
Mm-hmm.
I think this one is another thing. I mean, first of all, um, Bob Marley has a super simple way of explaining complex things.
Damn.
And so the Three Little Birds, it's like he woke up and there's three little birds singing on his doorstep. They're singing sweet songs,
Mm-hmm.
saying, "This is my message to you. Don't
Yeah.
worry about a thing because every little thing is going to be all right."
Yeah.
Um, so it's not saying that every little thing is going to turn out good, like, or it's going to be
Right.
amazing and you have an amazing
Yeah.
day. It's just saying
Yeah.
that it's going to have a resolution, and it is what it is. But don't like worry about it because the worry is what kind of like takes you down. And it's kind of like what you just said about shaping your world. Like if you just worry about everything, and you give
Mm-hmm.
everything your full energy, you're not going to have any energy to deal with anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of been my life's mantra. But then not
Yeah.
to
It's
mention it's in what's that Will Smith movie? It's not.
Pursuit of Happiness.
No, it's the one where he's all by himself.
Oh,
And
I Am Legend.
I am Legend, dude. And I swear one of
Yeah.
the mannequins is gonna come to life. And I'm like, yo, Will, get away from the mannequin. That thing is alive when he goes to the movie store.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then just him like in that movie in I Am Legend trying to explain to somebody who he's like, you don't know who Bob Marley is, it's like, hey little bird, Bob
Mm-hmm.
Marley,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah. Yeah.
or no, I Shot the Sheriff is the one he
Yeah. I shot the
explained.
sheriff. Yeah.
But he was the Three Little Birds was in that movie, and it's kind of like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
that's like he's literally the last person. There's been this zombie apocalypse or a virus or something, and yeah, man, it kind of kept him going. And so I think that's true. I think this is a song that if it was kind of the last song, it would kind of keep your hopes up, a little
Yeah.
bit more. So yeah.
I mean, and not to mention, I mean, like, Bob Marley is arguably one of the greatest artists we've ever had on in any genre.
Hmm.
Right? He's one of those artists who, his message and his even if you're not a fan of reggae, Like I know people who aren't fans of reggae music and they love Bob Marley. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And they respect him and they respect his what he stood for and his message. So, you know, man, I can't say enough about Bob Marley. Plus, you know, my niece is named after a
Yeah.
lightweight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, and it's funny because we were having this conversation the other day, and Ash was like, "Do you think that she's going to resent kind of being named after Bob Marley?" And I was like, "I don't think so. I think once especially you hear his songs and you hear how
Yeah,
powerful he was as a person, and I think that's
yeah.
something that she's going to take to. As we just told you, her personality is super strong. Like I think it's something she's gonna resonate with. So,
hmm
but what you got? Final, last and final.
Man, I like that. I'm a piggyback off of Bob Marley's message. Um, you know, and this song is another classic song from the '90s. Another classic hip hop song from the '90s, man, and it is kind of keeping with that same theme of you know, um, you know, counting the small victories and celebrating those and appreciating them as they come. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go with Ice Cube. It was a good day.
Oh man, that's a great song.
That is such a classic hip hop song. And it's probably one of his biggest songs, the biggest songs of his career. But it, you know, overall, the message of the song is just like, even in, you know, no matter how crazy the world is, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that crazy all the time, right?
Mm,
Like, there are days, and, you know, if you get caught up in the bad days and you don't appreciate the good ones, you know what I mean? Like, and it's the bad days that allow you to appreciate the good ones. You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? So like having the balance between the two. And when you have a good day, if everything around you is going crazy, if you have a day where things is going smooth, like take the time and like take it in, enjoy it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And embrace it. You know what I mean? Like it like each day is going to have its own little, you know, things could go wrong at any given moment. But like if things, you can't get so caught up in the bad times and everything that's crazy in the world that you can't take the time to say, yo, like today was a good day. Like no matter what's going on in this world, like I'm happy today. You know what I mean? And like it's really a song about embracing the moment and living in the moment. You know what I mean? So, and if nothing else, if you don't take nothing else from this song, understand this: that Ice Cube is a pimp. Okay. It
That's what
was
the
such,
blimp said.
yeah, that's what the blimp said. Like, if Goodyear blimp, it never lies. And it said Ice Cube was a pimp. I believe it. And I've lived my life on that mantra.
They didn't have to use his AK.
Right.
Uh, um, no,
Me
that's
even back
a
though, Lil Joe.
yeah, that, that's a man. That's a great song, and it's just that the use of such an amazing sample too, like to like put you
Yeah.
in the mood, and it's like uh, I think it was relatable
Yeah.
to a lot of people who may be living that life, but then it also transcended that too because like we were from the suburbs and
Mm,
like there were places where we lived obviously that weren't so good, but when the song came out we were living in a house in like Garland, I believe, or somewhere around that time. I forgot what year that song actually came out. Maybe we were in an apartment, I don't
that
know,
was 90.
whatever.
That was 92.
All right, so we were in like Highlands, but we weren't in a bad, like super bad neighborhood, and so it's kind of like it was still relatable to us, right? Like because we were like,
Mm,
oh, well, hey, we're not obviously we're not like in California, South Central LA, gang culture or whatever, anything like that, but like we're like, hey, like even watching the video, we're like, hey, I can relate to those things. Like
right.
we didn't get stopped by the cops, like I didn't get
Yeah.
yelled at by my parents, like
Yeah.
So mom
And
cooked a breakfast with no hog. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like it was like, and it was one of them songs that I think, like you said, it transcended, whatever, no matter where you from, no matter what part of the world you live in, you can relate to that song, and or at least relate to the overall feeling and energy of it. You know what I mean? And like it trips me out how to this day that song came out in 92. This is 18 years later. I find it absolutely hilarious that people are still trying to figure out exactly what day he was talking about.
mm,
Like they've gone, like people are going through like strenuous lanes to try to figure out the exact date that this song was, and he keeps telling people like, "Yo, it's not about an like it wasn't an actual date. It was just
a
I'm
story.
taking it's a story. I'm taking moments from days here and there and putting them all in one day, but people are
But
still like having
what day did
theories
you
about,
eat?
yeah.
What day did you eat Fat Burger at 3 in the morning?
Like people are going back trying to figure out when the Lakers beat the Supersonics. Like,
Yeah.
like what day did the Lakers play the Supersonics and win? Like, come on, man. Like, but it's one of those type of songs, man. Like it captures the imaginations of everybody that listens to it. So
All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I will have you know that we did not compare song lists before this podcast,
okay.
but it seems as though a lot of the songs that we picked kind of center around some sort of synergy, and whether it's about life, deeper meaning, or just understanding and being present and living in the moment. At some point, like as you were going through your list, I'm like, dang, how did we do that? Like, I don't even know. But and then it kind of like if you can kind of wrap up kind of shaping the future generations into like songs, I think this is a good, good example of stuff that they should listen to.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, us as sort of future generation mentors, I would call us, is like it's our responsibility. But then we may not always have the right words, and so I think at times music, like if you can just sit somebody down, and get them to digest and like listen to and absorb kind of music with lyrics and feelings and explain, like talk
Mhm.
around the music, like I think the understanding hits deeper,
Yeah.
and it's something that could carry on to where a moment where you're not with um, a child, and so they're
Hmm.
like, yo, like I remember the song, and like now it's hitting me now that I'm like, I was 13 when I first heard it, but now I'm 25, and I'm like, man, this song is hitting way different than when I first heard it, and I was like, oh, it's cool, but so
Hey man, it's because of Mike Biv I know to take precaution before I step to meet a fly girl, man. So, you know,
that's so funny. Um, yeah, no, so man, good job, good pick on your song.
yeah, likewise, brother.
And yeah, I think we need to do it again. Kind of. I think we'll switch it up as far as top 5 songs, and I think we can even do like because I like where you're going with kind of love songs,
Hmm.
and picking the right ones. Um,
Picking like
so
picking the right songs or picking the right mates.
both, because I think that like so music kind of shapes your mindset. Like so as
Yeah,
you're like approaching a mate or thinking about your future, what you're listening to absolutely affects that mindset.
I already have one in mind, and I thought about putting it on this list, but that would have been a selfish one. And I blame you and Ashley for this one
Yeah,
because for a while I couldn't hear the song without tearing up. So
is the Stevie Wonder song?
no.
Oh, okay.
Do
We'll
you
save
want me
that
to
for
say it
later.
again?
No, you can save it for later. I thought it was the Stevie Wonder one.
No.
Yeah, no. So, man, it's been a good episode. Had a lot of fun with this one.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, if you like what you hear, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Remon does a good job of putting everything below. Share it with your friends if you think it's something you need to hear. You can find me at Quincy Forte across all socials, and you can find Mr. Remon.
Find me at theurbanadvocate.com, and you can find all of my social media information there.
Awesome. Thank you for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next time.